Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving straight into a wild explainer about survival on the African savanna. We're going to follow one of Africa's absolute toughest predators right as a new day begins. It's leaving its burrow with exactly one goal in mind, and that's to find food. But as we're about to see, the savanna really doesn't care how tough you are.
So I want you to think about this. What actually happens when an apex predator, an animal totally famous for its relentless grit, experiences what we can only describe as the absolute worst hunting day of its entire life? It's a story of continuous, honestly kind of comedic, but deeply educational failures, and it perfectly highlights just how hard wild animals have to work to simply survive.
You know those days where literally nothing goes right? Think of this as the ultimate relatable bad day at work. In the morning, our badger heads out hungry, chasing every faint scent across the dust. By midday, after a whole string of defeats, total exhaustion sets in under this lone acacia tree. And finally, by sunset, it trudges back to the exact same burrow, completely empty-handed. Let's break down exactly how this day went so off the rails, starting with the morning shift.
Section 1. The daily grind begins. Fast and slippery escapes.
Okay, so the sun comes up and our honey badger is pumped, full of energy. But it's about to hit a quick rhythm of missed opportunities. First target of the day, a tiny rodent hiding out in some dry grass. The badger creeps closer, it's a flawless setup, but right before those powerful claws can grab it, the rodent zips into its burrow. The badger digs like crazy, and we all know how incredible they are at digging, but the prey is already long gone through an escape tunnel. It's just a brilliant use of architecture to outsmart a stronger foe. Strike one for the badger.
Refusing to quit, the badger presses on, but man, the morning misses just keep stacking up. Next up, a ground nesting bird. The badger inches forward, flattening itself against the dirt, but the second the bird looks alert, the badger lunges and completely whiffs. The nest is totally empty. Next, it heads over to a rocky outcrop and spots a huge python. But the snake is just way too big to overpower, and with insane speed, it slithers deep into these narrow rock crevices until it's completely gone. Now the badger's getting frustrated. It spots a rock monitor lizard. A frantic chase kicks off, but boom, the lizard also vanishes right into a narrow crack between the rocks.
So what's really going on here? It all comes down to a survival strategy called terrain advantage. Both that massive python and the lightning-fast lizard brilliantly used the rocky outcrop as a defense mechanism. They didn't even have to fight the badger. They just used the rugged environment, the deep crevices, the narrow cracks, to squeeze into spaces the larger predator literally couldn't reach. It left the badger with absolutely no choice but to throw in the towel.
By midday, after all these totally failed attempts, our badger is just wiped out and incredibly hungry. It starts furiously digging around for insects. Nothing. It checks termite mounds along the path, but only scrapes together a few leftover termites, barely even an appetizer. Finally, entirely defeated, head hanging low, the badger just collapses under the shade of a lone acacia tree, lying totally flat on the dirt. I mean, you'd really have to feel for the guy at this point.
Section 2. Armor and sharp defenses.
All right, afternoon rolls around, the rested badger decides to switch up its tactics. But it's about to run headfirst into some entirely new, totally impenetrable biological defenses. At first, fortune finally seems to smile. Off in the distance, a pangolin is peacefully grabbing a snack at a termite mound. Learning from its sloppy morning, the badger gets dead serious. It uses a super calculated, stealthy approach. Step 1. Quietly approach from behind. 2. Press its body flat against the ground. 3. Crawl slowly closer, flattening out again and again so it's not spotted. And 4. Suddenly charge.
The suspense is literally killing me here. The badger just executed a flawless stealth approach. The target had absolutely no idea. Will fortune finally smile on our honey badger?
Nope, not a chance. The blunt reality is that the pangolin instantly curls up into this tight, basically impenetrable ball. The badger rolls it around, it scratches at it, it bites it, it wrestles to flip it over. But every single attempt completely fails. A massive meal is sitting right there, but it is entirely locked inside a fortress.
And this right here perfectly illustrates why the pangolin's armor is known as one of nature's finest defenses. We're talking about a nearly impenetrable shell made of overlapping scales. It acts as an absolute evolutionary brick wall against hungry predators. The badger can throw all its strength and sharp teeth at it, but it just cannot break through that passive structural defense.
So, hot, hungry, and getting pretty desperate, the badger pivots to an African crested porcupine. But this is a whole different ballgame. Unlike the pangolin's passive defense, those overlapping scales we just talked about, the porcupine brings an active counterattack to the table, featuring extremely sharp quills. Our frustrated badger decides, you know what, I'm going in head-on. It closes the distance, lines up the perfect strike, and lunges.
Ouch. Yeah, the result is exactly as painful as it sounds. That head-on ambush completely backfires against active biological weaponry. It ends with sharp quills embedded straight into the badger's muzzle and front legs. Totally outmatched and hurting, the honey badger is forced to back off in serious pain. Raw aggression just got fiercely punished.
Section 3. Outnumbered and out of reach. As the afternoon drags on, the badger runs into its final completely insurmountable hurdles: gravity and pack dynamics. First, an African tree squirrel pops up right beneath an acacia tree. The badger quietly stalks it, makes a sudden, explosive rush forward. But a simple change in verticality entirely defeats our predator. The squirrel literally just races up the trunk and disappears into the high branches, way beyond the reach of the badger, who is just left waiting helplessly at the bottom.
And then comes the final, absolute heartbreak of the day. A tiny glimmer of hope. The badger catches a whiff of a fresh carcass drifting on the breeze. It tracks the smell all the way to a dead antelope. A massive free meal. But there's a catch. It's already occupied by a powerful clan of spotted hyenas. The honey badger watches them. It takes a cautious step forward. But then, realizing it's vastly outnumbered by these massive scavengers, it reluctantly backs away. It's just way too much risk for one exhausted, solitary badger.
I mean, let's just look at this daily tally. The sheer volume of missed meals is staggering. The rodent escaped, the bird flew away, the python hid, the monitor vanished, the pangolin rolled up, the porcupine spiked it, the squirrel climbed a tree, and the hyenas bullied it off a free lunch. It's a complete tragicomedy of errors for one of the savanna's absolute fiercest creatures.
Which brings us to Section 4, the reality of survival.
Let's zoom out for a second from this endless string of failures and look at the broader biological truth here. As that beautiful golden light of sunset slowly washes over the savanna, our honey badger quietly heads back to its familiar burrow. A long, painful, incredibly hungry day wraps up without a single successful meal. It paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? Even the absolute toughest animals on the planet struggle terribly just to make it to tomorrow. But for an animal like this, today's failures are just part of the job description. Tomorrow, the whole crazy journey starts all over again.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If one of Africa's toughest predators fails this often, how miraculous